So today I will be explaining the way how you meditate on loving kindness during an intensive meditation retreat. This is not an instruction that you should follow at home outside of a meditation retreat. It's not an instruction that you should follow yourself. It's not an instruction that you should follow without a teacher. This instruction that I will be giving requires that you have a teacher, that you have access to the teacher, and that you're meditating at least 6 hours every day. Otherwise, it is not suitable, and I do not appreciate, and I do not recommend, and it's not correct. All right. So I'm going to give instruction for meditation on loving kindness that's suitable only during meditation retreats. It is not suitable anywhere else for any other purpose, for any other reason, for any person in the world. All right. So this instruction is suitable only for meditation retreats. That means only for periods where you meditate at least 6 hours every single day. And when you have a teacher who has been practicing this practice until the end of its syllabus, because it has several levels, and who is available for you anytime during the day throughout the meditation retreat. Okay. So this practice has not only these many requirements, but it also is very complicated. So if you are not very experienced in meditation on loving kindness, it is not really suitable that you would be practicing this practice. It's good if you are very experienced and very knowledgeable about loving kindness practice, so that you can manage all of this load of information that you have to follow exactly to the point throughout your meditation time, because it's a very strict instruction. Okay, every single detail matters. You forget one word, you got totally wrong. Okay, and there are many words, so forgetting a word is highly probable. So when you start practicing this technique, it is very important that you have a teacher, that you write down notes, and if you don't understand something, that you ask. It is not a practice that you would follow from some recording in YouTube or somewhere else. Not at all. But we are allowing this technique on YouTube because we do not have any secrets. I don't have any secrets. I don't worry. Whatever are these techniques, I can easily show in the Pali scriptures that there is an evidence that these techniques were taught in the ancient times, or that the techniques are fully in accordance with the scriptures. Because some of the techniques that I teach are not really in the Pali scriptures, but they were taught by great Burmese masters or by great Sri Lankan masters. And so they're not in the scriptures, but they're not mine as well. So I can show where's the source and why do I say what I say. And I like when people have access to the information so they can decide for themselves whether this is something they are interested in, or whether it is a nonsense, or whether they want to do something else. I like when all information is available. I want to know everything. I will never be able to know everything, but I just want to. So I like when people have access to the information, and that's why we broadcast it. But it's by no means a supplement or instruction for anyone who does not have direct contact with a teacher and who does not meditate at least 6 hours every day. And the teacher must be experienced in this particular practice. If it is any other practice, then the teacher is useless for this instruction. So you need to have a teacher who's experienced in this particular practice. Okay, so first, your meditation time, both sitting and walking, you will be meditating at least 6 hours every day throughout the remaining days of this retreat, which is altogether about 7 or maybe 6, we shall see. And then as you meditate, sitting or walking, or sitting and walking, altogether 6 hours every day, you can meditate either in 30 minutes long periods or 60 minutes long periods. So 20 minutes meditation session doesn't work. I will explain why. 45 minutes meditation session doesn't work. Only for this instruction, okay? That's only, not for loving kindness. It's only for this particular instruction of loving kindness when you need to meditate either 30 minutes or 60 minutes, okay? Any other meditation method of loving kindness does not have this kind of requirement, or up to my knowledge, it doesn't. But for this particular instruction, you need to be able to meditate at least 30 minutes in a row without any movement, or with changing to your so-called secondary posture, something I've explained in a previous video. So 30 minutes or 60 minutes. Why? Because you will have to divide them into 6 little pieces. 30 minutes are easily divisible into 6, so you would have each part 5 minutes long. 60 minutes is also relatively easy to divide into 6 pieces. Each piece, each part will be 10 minutes long. So out of these 6 portions, whether you meditate 30 minutes or whether you meditate 60 minutes, the technique is exactly the same. Whether you meditate in sitting, whether you meditate in walking, the technique is exactly the same. The first portion is dedicated to you. All right. So you, as the meditator, during the first portion, start by 1 cycle of observing muscles. If you can achieve peace by the end of your cycle, well, then you move on to observing peace alone in the mind without considering anything in the body. You can notice how the peace is affecting the body or how the body is affecting the peace, but you are no more considering any muscles or sinews or heaviness in the muscles or sinews or anything of that kind. You are curious about what is peace and how does this peace happen in the mind. That's your main object. If you do not get peace by the end of your first cycle of observing muscles, well, then you need to do another cycle of observing muscles. We were talking about observing muscles in a previous session. All right, so then when 5 minutes of your 30-minute session or 10 minutes of your 60-minute session have elapsed, well, then that means that your first portion of your meditation session is gone, and you're moving on to the second portion of your meditation session, 2nd out of the 6. So in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th portion of each of your session, of each of your sitting or walking meditation period, you need to change the focus. You need to change the object of your meditation to another person. And we will be choosing specifically who will be those persons. So, who will be those persons? You need to choose at this level 5 beloved people. So you're choosing 5 people that you love, 5 people that you appreciate, 5 people that bring you happiness, whether when they're present or just because they live, no problem. But there need to be 5 people in your life who who you appreciate. They don't have to bring you anything. If you appreciate them, then that's enough. You appreciate their character or what they did or what they did for somebody else or for you, or because they look no, actually the look doesn't really help much, but maybe that's not a problem. But if they are, if you appreciate them, then that's fine. There should be nothing sexual, okay, about appreciating them. It should be purely about their qualities or about your inner feeling that you're happy with them or that you're hopeful about them and so on. So you can choose even babies. You can choose even babies. You can choose people that you have seen in a movie, but not those characters in the movie, but the actors. But because the persons need to be real. Okay, cannot choose imaginary or legendary or fantastical hero, not at all. Or non-hero or villain, no, you cannot choose anyone of that kind. You need to choose a real person that you have met and that you know that they are still alive. And the person needs to have the same sex as you. So if you are a woman, you need to choose a woman. If you're a man, you need to choose a man. What if you are neither man or woman? Then I don't know. We would have to ask some great master to resolve that problem. I cannot help because I don't know the answer for that question. So you will need to know whether you are a man or woman. Again, if you don't, we would have to resolve it. But so far, I don't remember having such a student. So I didn't have an opportunity, to go and see a Seattle and asking this question as a practical question. All right, so if you're a woman, you will need to choose 5 women who are alive and real and who you appreciate. If you are a man, you will need to choose 5 men who are alive and real and who you appreciate. Okay, so I will be asking you about those that you have chosen. Now, I know that this is broadcasted, but at the same time, it should not matter because you will not be telling me any names or stories. I'm not interested in them at all. I just want to know, I just want to be sure that you have chosen 5 people. That's all. You will not have much time to do that choosing because I want to know it right away. So I would like to ask you, everybody, to write them in the chat box, and you will just tell me the relationships. For example, my mom, 2 sisters, 2 neighbors, or my female teacher, 2 female coworkers, and 2 nieces, or my auntie, my grandma, my 2 friends, and a famous lady in the TV. Okay, so write them down right away in the chat box, right now. Except Tori, of course, because I already know Tori is already an experienced meditator. So we have discussed this yesterday. I want to make sure that the remaining people here, that they also have chosen 5 people. I'm waiting for your 5 people. We cannot move on without that. So make it very clear, very short. If it is your grandma, 4 friends, that's all what I want to see. Or 2 friends, 3 colleagues, no problem. Or 1 sister, 4 aunties. Okay. Make sure that they are all 5, that they are alive, that they are ladies, and that you appreciate them. Okay, so first one is a list of mom, sister, I see, mom, 3 sisters, and grandma. Very well. Child, very well. So I suppose, is that a daughter? It's a daughter. So daughter, mom, 2 friends, and a teacher of your child. Very well. Is the teacher a lady? Okay. So we are still waiting for 2 of you. Mom, 2 female teachers, a student, and a girl. You will need to know what's your relationship. So you will need to tell me, is that a girl you saw in a bus station? Or is that a girl you saw in the TV? Or is that a girl, is that a daughter of your friend? I need to know your relationship to that person.
Friend daughter.
Friend's daughter. Okay. So we are still waiting for 1 person. Everybody needs to choose the 5 persons. Even if you feel you won't be able to move on to loving kindness because you have yet to do a lot of work to get there, I need all of you to choose it right now so we don't have to discuss it later. So Anan, okay, so well, you could say, you could call her your friend Nan to shorten it. Your mom, two friends, a teacher. Is the teacher a female?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. In the video, if I ask you question on yes or no, then there is a shortcut, okay, for you to answer. So for yes, you do like this with your head, and for no, you do like this with your head. So you don't have to search the unmute button and then say the answer, and then again search the unmute button. No, you don't have to do that, okay? So are the two Dhamma friends ladies? Again, if it is yes, you do this. If no, you do this. Yes, okay, very well. So now, when you have chosen your 5 people, you need to remember their order. Some of you have chosen 2 people or 3 people of the same kind, like 2 friends or 2 sisters and so on. So in that case, in your mind, you need to decide which of them will go first and which will be second or third. So in your mind, now make the decision who will be exactly the first person, who will be the second, who will be the third, who will be the fourth, who will be the fifth. As soon as you have decided, do this with your head, so I know that you're ready. Okay. Okay, good, we're done. So now you cannot change the order of these people, and you cannot change these people unless you ask me for permission and receive the permission from me. So asking me for permission is not enough. Okay. No. You cannot just ask me for permission and do whatever you want. It doesn't work. Not during a meditation retreat. In meditation retreat, you need to wait for my permission. Until you get my permission, you cannot move on. You can continue what you were doing before, but you cannot make the change. All right. Because then maybe there is some important information I need to tell you for that change so that it is safe, or so that you understand what could be the dangers of that change. All right. So you do not change anything about the instruction without my permission. All right. So make sure that you remember very well the order of the 5 people. So who is first, who is the second, who's the third, who's the fourth, who's the fifth, and who exactly are those 5 people, so that you cannot get wrong. You may like to write it in your notes. That may help. If it is a little more complicated, if you think it's easy, then you keep it. And then what shall you do? So after you finish the first of the 6 parts of your meditation session, then the remaining 5 parts will be dedicated to these 5 people. So first, let's see what you will not do with these 5 people. You will not imagine their face. All right. So in our Pali scriptures, it is suggested that you will imagine their face. But some people get crazy when they imagine another person's face. And I do not appreciate that you would get crazy during this meditation retreat. No, sorry. If you want to get crazy, then you will not get permission for that from me. All right. So nobody is allowed to get crazy. No, it's not allowed here. So you will not be imagining anyone's face, not during our retreat. If the face of the person appears to you a lot, like automatically, it's fine. Then it's no problem. It's no problem. But if you try to imagine the face, then it doesn't work. Then it doesn't work for me, because I'm not going to provide you mental health counseling if you get crazy. All right? When it is not my fault. All right? When it is not my fault, I will send you away, because that's what's done in Myanmar meditation centers. In a Myanmar meditation center, even if you are a monk and you get crazy, you will get forcefully disrobed and removed from the center secretly. That's how it's done in Myanmar. Okay? So that's also why you need to be at least 18 years old when you enter this retreat, you see? Because if there is a problem, well, then it's your problem. I do not have to resolve it with your parents. Okay. I'm not going to talk with your parents about your health issues, So if you have a problem, I'll resolve it with you. So only adults are allowed to come here. But more importantly, adults, you need to be adult for this retreat so that when you have a problem, you hopefully have sufficiently developed a brain so that you tell me that you have a problem. And so that you leave from the retreat before the problem becomes serious. All right. As for those who are younger, they may be so enthusiastic about the practice that they may disregard their physical or mental problems. They may keep them in secret. They may not tell me at all. And then the problem may be even more and more serious. And I have no way to know if they don't tell me. So that could be too dangerous. And if then they really have some problem, well, then I could have a legal problem, not just the fact that my reputation could be decreased because these people did not follow my instruction. So it's very important that if you have any problem, be it mental or physical, that you tell me during our interviews, and ideally even earlier, so that I know as soon as possible and I can help you resolve and prevent that problem. All right, so no imagining faces. Do not also think about the good qualities, such as that the person is clever or intelligent or helpful or smart or what else, or that they're generous, or that they live ethically, or that they have some special skill, or that they're kind, anything of that, or that they're hardworking, or that they're meditating, or something like this. No, do not consider any of the good qualities of the people. Also, do not think of any of your experiences, any of your nice experiences you had with that person. Do not try to go back in the past and think what was the experience when you went outside, or when you were talking about something or resolving some problem. No, don't do that. So you will not be imagining faces of these people. You will not be thinking about their good qualities. You will not be thinking about nice experiences with them. The idea here is that you will remember that you will entirely remove and ignore anything that's specific about these 5 people. Why would you do that? Well, when you remove and ignore all of the specifics about these 5 people, well, then you are able to radiate loving kindness to these 5 people equally. And if you can remove all of the specifics of all living beings in the world, well, then you are able to radiate loving kindness to all living beings in the world equally, to the highest possible level. So we are still grateful to the people. That's all nice. But at the same time, this is a meditation practice where you realize that it is possible to love every living being in the world equally, exactly to the same level. And what's that level? The highest, the most genuine, the most honest, the most powerful, the most heartfelt love. Okay, so we are removing the specifics so that we can love the people more. So the love is no more conditioned on the way how they look like, or on the way what they did, or on that what they said, or on that what they did for you, or on anything else. We learn to radiate loving kindness to every living being, regardless who they are, what they do, how they look like, what they can do, what is their potential, or what is your experience or memory about them, or whatever you have heard of them. Okay, we do not condition our loving kindness on anything. And then the loving kindness is unconditional. So what will be the object of your meditation practice? So not the face, not the qualities, not the experience. So it will be the arising, passing moments of their mind and the body. All right? So in Buddhism, we believe that our mind is a stream of consciousness that's made up of little moments of consciousness. And because these moments happen very fast in succession, we call it a stream of consciousness. All right. So our mind is made up of these little moments that arise and pass, arise and pass, arise and pass. Something like when you watch a cartoon movie, then that cartoon movie is made up of very, very short moments of little pictures. Each picture is provided for a very short moment, and then another picture, and another picture, and another picture, and another picture. And when they are 24 or more per second, well, then it seems like they are continuous. And the same thing is with the mind. So because there are billions of moments of mind every second, it seems that the mind is continuous. So with the body, it's similar. So the body also is changing every moment. All right. So the body is changing and changing and changing. So we allow this body, we allow this mind to be changing, and we allow them to be changing also in the five people who we radiate loving kindness. We don't know whether they receive anything, and we don't care at all. We are not here forcing anyone to be peaceful. We don't really care whether they're peaceful or not. We care whether we ourselves allow them to be peaceful or not. Okay? Because that is something you can change. And that is something that's ethical. It's not ethical to force somebody else to something, but it's ethical except forcing them not to commit suicide, not to become a victim of suicide. But apart from that, we don't force really anybody to anything. All right? But we can force ourselves. And that's very good. If we can force ourselves to not kill, to not steal, not commit adultery, to not tell lies, to not drink alcohol, well, that's very good forcing ourselves. It's a very good force. So we can definitely force ourselves. It's very good. But in meditation, we go a little bit gently. So in meditation, we allow, right? We allow this permission for other living beings to be in peace, to arise. So we allow this permission to arise. We allow in the mind that we will be able to allow these people, to permit these people to be in peace. All right. So the permission is your object, not the person really. Okay. It's the permission. Am I now permitting the person to be in peace or not? You do not ask yourself this question. Do not ask yourself this question. But this is the attitude with which you meditate. So you are always checking in the mind. So permitting or not, permitting or not, permitting or not. You do not say these words. Do not say these words. But this is the way how you observe, how you meditate on loving kindness. What do you permit them? You permit them to be at least as peaceful as you are right now. Okay? All of us are peaceful. All beings in the world right now in the world are peaceful. Because peace is relative. There is always a way how to be less peaceful. Right? In Buddhism, we believe in hell. We believe in the world of animals. We believe in the world of ghosts. All right? So there are beings who suffer more than you. Well, that doesn't mean that you can suffer more, but it means that what you have now as less suffering than someone else, you can grow it so that it's even less and less and less and less. Right? So the idea here is that peace is relative. And because it is relative, there is always some peace. Depends on what do you compare it with. If you compare your peace with someone who's more peaceful, then of course you will not feel peaceful. But if you compare your peace now with some other time of yours where you were more peaceful, well, then of course you will not feel peaceful now. But what if you compare your peace now with some time when you were less peaceful? Or what if you compare your peace that you have now with someone else who is less peaceful? Well, then suddenly you will see that you're peaceful. And that's what you can use. You can use this attitude to develop, to grow your peace so that it becomes pristine and shining and powerful and strong, stable, continuous peace. So we first need to realize that we already have something, and then from that something, we can grow something. Suppose that you have a few seeds. You have a few seeds of whatever, mango tree. And you think, oh, that's not enough. I cannot really grow any mango from these few seeds. I need to wait until I get more. How many trees, how many mango trees will you get? 0, because you did not plant any of your seeds. Only when you realize that you already have seeds and you can start planting them, you will then be able to plant them and get some of the trees and get then some mangoes. If you think you don't have enough seeds, well, then you're searching for more seeds and therefore you don't plant anything and so you get nothing. Until maybe you will find some more seeds later and then you will plant them. But maybe you will not find more seeds. What if you don't find more seeds? Well, then you will die without realizing the fact that you could have some fruit. When I say fruit, I mean enlightenment. So when you have seeds, when you already have something that you can work on, well, then it's good to start working on it. And then when you have one seed for a mango tree, well, then you plant that one little seed, you get a mango tree, and from those mangoes, you will get 100 or 500 seeds. So whatever is the amount of seeds you have, you need to start planting that. You need to realize that you have peace. And how do you know that, how many seeds you have? Again, that depends on who do you compare with. So you can compare yourself with yourself. So search time in your life when you were less peaceful than now, or with someone else. And there are always many beings in the hell so that you can compare with them. You can compare with the beings in the hell who are suffering from constant fire, burning them as they're running away from the fire, but they cannot get out because the place where the fire is closed up. Or with those who are boiled in the boiling oil in the hell. You're not boiled. No, you're not. Or with those that are lying down on a blazing slab of iron or of metal, and around there are hell workers who are cutting off pieces of their flesh. Nobody is cutting off pieces of your flesh. Or those that are swimming in a special hell river in which there are tiny little needle-like creatures, and these needle-like creatures, they are pricking and stabbing the person's body until the person becomes a skeleton. There are no needle-like creatures that are stabbing your body so that it becomes a skeleton. Sorry. Not now. So there is always somebody who has less peace than you do. As soon as you realize it, well, then you get your peace so you can grow it, and then you can share it with others. So you can then start helping others to be also peaceful. So whatever is the peace that you get by the time your first part of your 6 parts of the meditation session is elapsed, then that is the peace that you wish to the other beings, at least. All right. So if they have more peace, amazing. But at least may they have this much. But if they have nothing, if they don't have even that what you wish them, it doesn't really matter, because that's not your job. Your job is to just allow that they have at least this much. All right. So your job is not to hinder, not to block, not to limit others in their peace. That's all. Okay, so who is the person? You're back at the beginning. So who is the person? The person is the arising, passing moments of the body and the mind. But also, you can consider the objects of your meditation practice, the beings, the five beloved people. You can consider them through their sameness. So you have five beings who are exactly the same. So we can call them sameness 1, sameness 2, sameness 3, sameness 4, sameness 5. All of these five samenesses are same. They're exactly the same. That's why they're called sameness. And what is the same in these five? And what is the same in these five with all other living beings as well? There are five things that in Buddhism we can consider as the same among all living beings. Number 1, all living beings will die one day. Number 2, all living beings are dependent on food. Some beings are dependent on mental food, like the beings in the higher heavenly worlds, but they're still dependent on food. It's just that the food is not material, it is a mental food. We have 4 kinds of food in Buddhism. Okay, the Kapalinkahara, which is the material food. Then we have Vijnanahara, which is food of consciousness. We have Vedanahara, which is food of feelings. And then we have Mano Sanchetanikahara, which is the food of thinking. But that's not so important now. The idea is that beings are all the same, and I'm trying to help you understand what I mean. So all beings are the same because they're dependent on food. All beings are also same because they wish for peace. They wish to be peaceful. All beings are the same because their body or mind or body and mind are made up of arising, passing moments, or in other words, they're impermanent, unsatisfactory, not self. And number 5, all beings experience results of their past deeds, of their past actions. So all beings are the same in these 5 ways. All beings must die one day. All beings are dependent on food. All beings want to be in peace. All beings have impermanent body and mind or body. And all beings experience results of their actions. So these are 5 things that can help you understand sameness in all beings. And it's this sameness that receives, no, we don't know whether they receive, but it's the sameness which is the object of your loving kindness practice. Sometimes your loving kindness practice may influence the other person to be in peace. But I'd say most of the times it's not so. And again, it's not our intention. We don't care. We care now about ourselves alone. Only when we ourselves can fully permit and allow other beings, all other beings, to be in peace, will it be possible that the other beings will be peaceful with us. So it's all dependent on our permission. As soon as we can permit, well, then there is a chance that we will also do something for them. For example, if they're hungry, we'll give them something to eat. It doesn't mean that we force them for something, that when we give them food, if they asked us for it. But I can imagine that there will be some people who will say that if you give something to someone, you actually force them, influence them, manipulate them, or use them. Well, I'd say that those people need to learn some loving kindness. So when we radiate loving kindness, we only allow the other people to be in peace. We do not force them. We don't expect anything. But there may be 2 problems. Before I get to the 2 problems, one more point. As you are radiating loving kindness to these 5 people, you can repeat in your mind the sentence, may my, for example, may my mom be in peace. You do not have to use this word my, but you can. It really doesn't matter because loving kindness is conceptual, so it's not a problem at all. May my mom be in peace. 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 And you go like this again and again and again and again and again, all the way until the end of the section of the time for your mom. So if it was 10 minutes, then it is for 10 minutes. If it was 5 minutes for 30-minute session, it's 5 minutes. So after you finish that section, well, then you have to move on to the other person. So for example, may my mom be in peace. You say this for 10 minutes, then you move on, for example, to your daughter. May my daughter be in peace. So you say that again and again and again and again and again for another 10 minutes, then you move on, for example, to your teacher, female teacher. So you say, may my teacher be in peace. May my teacher be in peace. So you repeat that sentence again and again and again. All right. But allow that sentence, to do not like force anything. The sentence just helps you to know of your object. You do not have to force yourself to be with the object. The only force that you make for meditation is in the beginning when you make your determination. And at that time, it's very good to be clear and strict. From now on, for 60 minutes, I will meditate on loving kindness without any movement. That's pretty good if you can make this determination strong and clear 3 times. But from the moment you finish your 3rd time of saying this determination, you should not really try for anything. You have done enough. Now you just enjoy the results of your determination, the consequences. So the mind should then be allowed to fulfill your wish. All right, so 2 problems can happen, positive and negative. Let's start with the negative one. So a negative problem can happen. Let's say you meditate 10 minutes for yourself. So you start with a cycle of muscles, then you experience peace, you observe peace. When 10 minutes is gone, you move on to your mom. You do loving kindness for 10 minutes for your mom. And then you move on, let's say, to your teacher, 5 minutes for your female teacher. And then you fall asleep. You fall asleep and sleep and sleep, and you sleep for 20 minutes. 45 minutes is gone of your meditation. How did you get 45 minutes? Well, 10 minutes for yourself, plus 10 minutes for your mom, plus 5 minutes for your female teacher is altogether 25 minutes. Plus 20 minutes of sleeping, 25 plus 20 is 45. So how many minutes remain for your 60 minutes meditation? 15 minutes. So what shall you do? You have still 3 people to work with. You did not even start with them, and you have only 15 minutes. And you should give each of them 10 minutes, right? So how are you going to do this? So the solution that I recommend is to count up equally the remaining time for the remaining people. So you have 15 minutes, 3 people. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So then you will dedicate to each of these 3 people 5 minutes. Sometimes, however, it's not as beautiful. Okay? Sometimes, let's say that you sleep 21 minutes. Okay, so you had 10 minutes for yourself, 10 minutes for your mom, 5 minutes for your female teacher, 25 minutes altogether, plus 21 minutes you fell asleep. So that's 46 minutes. How many minutes remain for your 60 minutes practice? 14. So, but you still have 3 people, right? So how will you distribute these 14 minutes to your 3 people? It's pretty hard maths. Okay, how do you divide 14 by 3 so that you do not have to meditate on seconds? Well, you just add 1 minute to your 60 minutes meditation. So you meditate 61 minutes. And therefore, you get your 15 minutes and you give 5 minutes to each of the 3, and you finish on the 61st minute of your meditation practice, or after the 61st minute. So you can actually add 1 or 2 minutes to your meditation session if it is for the purpose of the counting. All right. So this can happen not only with sleeping, but it can also happen with thinking or hearing something or feeling some pain or whatever else. Okay, so if you get lost, well then look at your clock. As soon as you regain your mindfulness, see how many minutes remain for your session and count it up equally for the remaining people. Now the positive problem. So what can happen also is that rather than falling asleep or thinking or feeling pain or hearing something or seeing something, you may experience an extraordinarily pleasurable feeling. Extraordinary, pleasurable, desirable, nice, comfortable, beautiful, amazing, wonderful feeling. And it may be a feeling in the mind, it may be feeling in the body. It is something desirable, not crying, not pain, not suffering, not worries. No, it is something pleasurable, desirable, nice, beautiful, something that you would appreciate. And if that happens, well, you should not look at the clock until it disappears. So, for example, you meditate 10 minutes for yourself, 10 minutes for your mom, 5 minutes for your friend, and suddenly an extraordinary, amazing, beautiful, never ever experienced experience appears in your mind. Or you feel something really, really beautiful and amazing. Well, then you should not look at the clock to see whether the 10 minutes for your, for example, female teacher is gone. Instead, you watch the experience because we want to know what's going on with this experience. But you, of course, continue in your loving kindness practice. You do not change the object to the experience, but you are still staying with that one person until you notice, until you can see that there is this extraordinary feeling or experience. And you finish that only when the extraordinary experience disappears itself. So maybe this extraordinary experience will take 20 minutes. Maybe it will take 30 minutes. Maybe it will take 13 minutes. Maybe it will take 17 minutes. All right. Whatever time it takes doesn't really matter, but you will have to cut off your extraordinary experience if it lasts longer than your determined time for that meditation session. Because you determined you will meditate 60 minutes. So even if the world has to totally burn up to little pieces, you have to finish your meditation after those 60 minutes. Okay? There's no other way. You need to be very strong with that. As soon as you get power over your time, then you will get that power not only in meditation, but also outside. So you can then do more things more effectively, and you can finish them or you can achieve them at the time or in the way that you have decided. So that's one of side effects. They're additional benefits to being strict about your determined time. Okay? This is not really the main point. The main point of your determination is that you will be able to continue in your practice. So you will be able to go to deeper levels of concentration to achieve deeper levels of insight. And they can be achieved faster and easier if you have power over your mind. So that's what we want. Whether you can finish something on time or whether you can finish your meditation exactly on the minute that you've decided, that's not really so important. You can also understand this historically in the Buddha's time. No monk had a clock. No monk meditated by minutes. All right. So they could not do this by minutes, but they did it in a different way. And until today, some Burmese monks do it in a different way. For example, I will meditate until the gong in the monastery is beaten for the time to eat. Or I will meditate until there is rain. But somehow the rain happens quite soon. They don't have to wait two weeks for that. Or I will meditate until somebody comes and speaks to me. Or I will meditate until there is the dawn. Well, that's a little vague, that's true, but they do not, they do not end their meditation before the dawn, even though they started in the morning of the previous day, or 3 days ago, or 7 days ago. So they start meditating, they decide from now on for 7 days, I don't need to experience arising, passing of the mind. And they leave that experience, or they leave that phenomenon. It's not an experience. They leave that phenomenon exactly after 7 days, not 6, not 8. All right. So these are some things that are very important and that characterize the ability to meditate, the ability to control your mind, the ability to work with your mind. Okay, so whatever is the experience you're having in meditation, you should never go over those 60 or in special cases 61 or 62 minutes. All right, and even those 61 or 62 minutes would not happen unintentionally. They happen very intentionally because you counted out the remaining time for the people, right? And you added very intentionally that 1 minute or 2 so that you can give them equal time. So it's not unintentional. Right? We never want to lose our power over the mind in meditation. If you cannot control your mind during meditation, there is a danger you are not able to control it outside meditation. Okay? So we want to be fully in control. And that should be it. Anyone has any questions? Anything is not clear? Yes, ma'am.
Bhante, could you please tell me more about the extraordinary thing? I did not know what it is.
I cannot tell you more because then you will imagine it, and that will be very difficult to help you more because your mind will be faking an experience that you don't really have, and we will have troubles. So just do your meditation and watch what's going on. And if there is something that I did not specifically mention, then you need to tell it to me. Okay, so I did not specifically mention any extraordinary experience. So whatever extraordinary happens, you need to tell it to me. Okay? I remember a case of a Vietnamese lady who followed like 10 years or 15 years Mahasi technique. It's a meditation technique in Myanmar. And she told me that she's not progressing in her meditation practice. And I say, so what do you do in your meditation? And she says, I'm thinking. And I say, do you do anything else apart from thinking in your meditation? And she says, well, I'm thinking. And I say, but is that the instruction in the Mahasi technique? What is the instruction? And she says, well, the instruction is to watch breathing. And I say, so what do you do in your meditation? And she says, I'm thinking in meditation. And so I say, okay, so do you ever watch your breath during meditation? And finally, she reveals to me, yes, sometimes I watch my breath. And I say, okay, well, you're supposed to watch your breath, right? And not watch your thinking. And then she agrees, yeah, well, actually, that's true. I'm meditating so that I watch my breath and not to be thinking. Now, the point is that she was concentrated on the thinking. For her, the thinking was the point of her meditation, not the breathing. Right? That's the point. If you're thinking in meditation, it doesn't matter, but it becomes a problem when the thinking is more important for you than the meditation method, because then you get stuck, because then you're just observing your thinking. And I say, okay, so when you're observing your breathing, what do you experience? And she says, well, when I'm observing my breathing, I see that there is a little ball in my belly. And and then I say, what is this ball like? Can you tell me more about it? And she says, well, sometimes it is smaller, sometimes it is bigger. In your belly? Yes, in my belly. And what does it do? And she says, well, it moves a little bit to the side and then to another side and a little bit back and a little bit forth. And I say, And did you tell about this to your meditation teacher or to anybody who teaches you meditation? And she says, no, I didn't. And I say, did you ever read about this in any book about Mahasi method? And she says, no, I have never read about that. And I say, and did you ever hear about it from any meditation teacher ever? She says, no, I never heard about it. So I say, so why didn't you tell it to your meditation teacher? And she says, well, I thought it is nothing special. And then I say, well, that's very special. If it is not written in any book, it is not taught by any teacher, and nobody instructed it to you. And then she started to cry and she realized, aha, she needs to be with the breath and not with the ball and not with the thinking. All right. So the meditation teacher, that means your meditation teacher, whoever he or she is interested in anything and everything that's not included in the instruction. All right. We need to know. Otherwise, you get stuck. Imagine this lady got stuck for maybe 10 years just because she didn't share her experience with the teacher. If she did, well, the teacher would tell her, hey, wait, you need to work with the breath, not with your thoughts. You need to work with the rising and falling of the abdominal ball, not with a ball. Abdominal wall, not with the ball. Okay. From abdominal wall, it became a ball. So that's very different. There should be no such ball in your meditation practice. There's no such meditation practice that contains concentration on a ball in your abdominal wall. But she didn't know it. And she didn't know it. So always be ready to tell me your experience. Okay? Everything is interesting. Everything is interesting. I want to know everything. Right? In the worst case, I'll say nothing special, continue. Right? But it needs to be me who decides whether it's extraordinary or not you. Okay? Like here, the lady decided that her experience is not extraordinary, and see what happened. I can guarantee you, if she told it to any meditation teacher, any living alive, so they are able to answer something, I'm sure they would tell her, no. The ball is not your meditation object. Concentrate on that rising and falling of the wall. Okay, Nguyen Phong, what can I do for you?
Yeah, you said when we say like my mom in peace when we do the meditation. On my list there are 2 persons in foreigner, so I'm thinking, should I speak say in Vietnamese or in English, or just say in my mother tongue when I say that words?
I would suggest that you maintain the same language throughout your meditation session.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So whatever you say in your mind, it's good to maintain it either in Vietnamese or in English or whatever is the language. It needs to be one language so that you don't get confused and don't start to think, so am I going to say this in English or in Vietnamese? Now imagine I'm working in 7 languages. Imagine that I would be thinking about this in my meditation. So am I going to say in Czech or English or Sinhalese or Burmese? I don't know. So then I would be stuck, on the language.
Okay.
I want to keep just one language for the session.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
Okay, Liu Ziu.
Yes, Bhante, I have one question. I was at the meditation of raising loving kindness should be touched by, should be pressed by the person who have achieved at least the first level of meditation.
No, because you have direct contact to a teacher who has experience with this practice, And because this is a meditation retreat where you have a specific syllabus, you have here a specific progressive system, which helps you understand loving kindness practice without much worry, then you do not really have to be experienced with loving kindness for this practice. But if you were to practice this alone directly, without any meditation on muscles, without any observing peace, well, then you will have to be an experienced loving kindness practitioner. Okay. But you are following this syllabus. You have already achieved peace in meditation on muscles. You have already observed peace alone. So you are now eligible for practicing loving kindness, even if you never ever practice loving kindness. All right, because it's embedded in a more progressive, in a more systematic schedule. Whereas if you had to practice this particular practice of loving kindness alone, well, then you would have to have some other experience with loving kindness, so you understand what's going on. Okay.
But I don't know that my peace is strong enough to spread for the other.
I see. Do you have more peace when you are boiled in a boiling oil, or do you have more peace now?
Yes. Yeah.
I gave you two options. You need to choose A or B.
B. Yeah.
B. Now you have more peace. So that means you have peace. In comparison to the person who is boiled in boiling oil, you have now more peace. Maybe some of the 5 people that you have chosen have more peace than you have now. But how do you know? Maybe they have less peace than you have now. Now, your objective, your aim is to allow them to have at least as much peace as you have now. Every time you have peace, there is no time you don't have peace, but not every time you're able to accept that fact. Okay? So you study this practice, you study the experience so that you discover that every time you have peace. All right? And appreciate it. Appreciate whatever is the amount of peace that you have now so that you can start growing it. All right? When you practice those 10 minutes in a 60-minute session for yourself, then that is the time when your peace will grow pretty well. But then as you start to radiate loving kindness for others, your peace needs to be clear to you. Okay? So you need to be very clear. Yes, indeed, there are worse times. And when you understand that, well, then that's enough. Because we can actually choose one of 4 different things that we wish these people. We can wish them to be peaceful. We can wish them to be free from enemies. We can wish them to be happy in their mind. We can wish them to be happy in their body or healthy. So these are 4 things, but I do not like to teach the remaining 3 because they're negative. May you be free from enemies. May you be free from sadness. May you be free from pain or illness. You know, these are negative. And for some people, they may be challenging, you know, they may be too difficult because they will be imagining how the person is having a disease or how they're sad or how they're having enemies. We don't want to do this in meditation, okay? So we practice only with the 4th kind, and that's peace itself. But it's the same thing. See, peace is the absence of enemies, of mental and physical troubles. It's the same thing. It's just that we do not say it. We just say peace.
Yes, may I have one more question? That's
Yes.
why we have that's why we are women and we have two women, and the men we have two men, but not that the women can possible for men and men possible for women.
I don't understand what is the question.
That's I mean that why we have to choose that the object. That's we I am women, so I have to choose also women, and men also to choose one man. I don't.
I see. Yes. Okay. So why should you choose women and why not men? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is because in some meditators, when they are men and choose women, and possibly when they are women and they choose men, lustful thoughts may arise. And that can be a hindrance on your practice. And because because things are not like that you're the only person in the world. You know, what you do may be inspiring somebody else, and the other person may not be inspired the way they are supposed to be inspired. So, for example, monks will say, okay, well, it doesn't matter if you have a little kid who's like 1 year old or 1 month old or 1 day old, and it's a different sex than you. Let's say you're a woman, you have a boy, you have a son, and the son is just 1 day old or 2 days old. So yeah, no problem. You can radiate loving kindness to that son. But then you become experienced, you become a meditation teacher, and you start to say, well, if you have actually your son, you'll tell to moms, if you have son, well, then you can actually radiate loving kindness to your son. But you will omit the fact that the son was 1 or 2 days old. And then those ladies will also become experienced and great masters, and they will start to teach gentlemen. Oh, dear gentlemen, I was allowed to radiate loving kindness to my son. That means you can also radiate loving kindness to your daughter. And then these gentlemen will become experienced and powerful, famous meditation teachers, and they will teach other people, and they will say, well, you can actually radiate loving kindness to your children. And then there will be a meditator who will say, well, my wife is actually like my daughter. Or a lady who will say, well, my husband is like my son. And they will radiate loving kindness to their wife or their husband. They will get lustful and they will not progress. So this may happen. Okay, it's a fantastical idea, but we don't want to make any possibility for this to happen. So it's totally prohibited to meditation teachers by our scriptures to allow their students radiate loving kindness to another gender. But after you have mastered the 16 levels of loving kindness that I have learned in Sri Lanka from my Sri Lankan teacher, then after you have mastered these 16 levels, well, then you can actually radiate loving kindness to the other 6, because you already know that the other person is sameness. Now, in this beginning, you have not proven to me as the teacher that you understand what is sameness. You will be able to prove it when you come to the 16th level. Okay. And after I am sure that you understand what is sameness, well, then you can, of course, radiate loving kindness to anything and anyone and everybody and everything. Is it clear?
Yeah, thank you very much, Bhante.
Yes, Min?
Sorry, I have too many questions. I just want to clarify the extraordinary feeling. You say that only the good feeling, like like a joy. What if when I do that and I feel like sorry for my daughter, for example, that the feeling is that extraordinary feeling, or only the joy is count?
To you as a practitioner, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean a thing, because whether it is extraordinary, pleasant or not pleasant, whether it is desirable or not desirable, as soon as it is something that, as soon as it is pleasant and desirable, then you want to continue until it disappears. As soon as it is undesirable, well, then you will need to see whether you are mindful or not. And if you are mindful, then you continue observing it, what's going on. So that's your secondary object. Or you are not mindful, so you cannot do anything anyway.
So in the case that I'm still know that I'm mindful, but I feel like sorry for that person, so I keep going until it ends. For example, 60 minutes on.
You are stuck on the fact that you forgot about the sameness. You will be sorry about somebody as soon as you forget about sameness. You need to remind yourself of the fact that you do not radiate loving kindness to that particular person with their specific characteristics. You just allow their arising, passing mind and body to be in peace. So there is totally no way how you could be remorseful or have sorrow or worries and so on. So this would be, this would only show that you're not following the meditation instruction.
Yeah.
All right. You need to be very careful. Remove all of the specifics whenever you feel worry, anger, or disappointment, or special love or appreciation. You need to remove all the specifics. The appreciation can be there, but without those specifics.
I got it. Oh, thank you.
The specifics will be there anyway, but you should not intentionally put them there. You understand? You're gradually training yourself in removing the specific characteristics during loving kindness practice. You will not be able to do that probably until maybe the 10th or 15th level of this practice, and you are now at level 0. Okay, but you gradually progress. As soon as you achieve extraordinary pleasurable experience, check whether you are able to radiate this loving kindness, whether you are able to experience this experience also without considering any face, good qualities, or nice experiences with the person.
Yeah.
What if the person had now some different face? What if the person did not have those good qualities? Doesn't mean that they should have bad qualities, but what if you did not know about those qualities? And what if those experiences you experienced with them actually did not happen? Would you still be appreciative of that person or not? If not, well, then you are no more practicing according to the instruction. You need to remind yourself that the object of your practice is the permission to the arising, passing moments of the body and mind to experience at least as much peace as you have now. That's the object of your practice. As soon as there comes something else into it, then it's not the object, then it's not correct. Okay, you said you had many questions, so I'm listening. That's it. Okay, many questions are resolved. So I think this is, yes, Han Nguyen. What is the question? What can I do for you?
Dear Bante, I would like to clarify some points here. So from now on, all the meditators in this retreat will practice muscles, peace, meditate on muscle, peace, and loving kindness in the same way, or just some people who achieve peace?
So when you radiate on loving kindness, that session, the determination for that session will contain only loving kindness because you use those muscles and peace for your loving kindness. All right. So we will simplify that. Otherwise, it's too complicated. So your determination will be either from now on for 30 minutes, I will meditate on loving kindness without any movement, or from now on for 60 minutes, I will meditate on loving kindness without any movement. All right. There is no other determination that you can take for this practice. You can take 2 more. From now on for 30 minutes, I will meditate on loving kindness while walking. From now on for 60 minutes, I will meditate on loving kindness while walking. So you have actually these 4 kinds. Okay. Now, as for your question, some of you did not achieve 75% of your meditation. Some of you did not achieve observing peace for at least 75% of your meditation session. So you need to continue in your practice of observing muscles alone or observing peace alone until you see that your session, your meditation session, contained at least 75% of the time observing peace or experiencing peace. All right. And then after you see that this has happened, that such a session has happened, then from the other session, starting from the other session, you can radiate loving kindness. Those of you who start radiating loving kindness in the way I have explained today are actually not allowed to meditate on muscles alone or peace alone anymore, because you will be just losing your time. Don't do that. Okay. You can do it when you have finished 6 hours of following this instruction, but not before that. Okay.
Okay, so I have one more question, Bante. I took notes, but I didn't get the point here. When we have lust or something else, we look at the clock and what do we do next? Yeah, I missed this point.
Mhm. I see. So when you, for example, fall asleep, but that's in the loving kindness practice, right? Are you now asking about loving kindness practice or something else?
Yeah, I would like to know more about practice loving kindness. When we have lust and something, we look at the clock and what do we do next? I missed this point.
I didn't really mention what do you do with lust. I suggested that you do not work with people of different sex, so that simply lust does not arise in your mind. So I would expect that lust does not arise in your mind during this meditation technique, because you did not choose a person of different sex. Okay, and if it does happen, well, then you need to tell me, and then we will have to go to see a big sayadaw, a big master, and we will ask him what to do, and we will see what he answers. Okay? Because I don't know what to do if a lady radiates loving kindness to a lady and then lust appears in her mind. I don't know what to do there. The same thing, if a man radiates loving kindness to a man and lust appears in his mind, I have no idea what to do. We will have to go to Myanmar and ask a great master and ask him the question and then see what does he reply. But until I see that kind of yogi, because I'm not aware of having such student yet, then until I have that kind of student, I cannot do anything, because I would be asking a purely theoretical, fantastical question. I would not have somebody who could attest, who could say, indeed, it's true, or who could say, it works for me, whatever the sayadaw suggests, or it does not work for me. I don't have such person. So the answer would be useless at this moment. Okay?
Yeah, okay. So I have one more question. Okay. So if we practice within 30 minutes, so how should we distribute the time for the beginning part and for practice on loving kindness?
Mm-hmm. You divide it into 6 parts. Each part will take 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So what do we do for the first part?
During the first 5 minutes, you need to somehow, one way or another, manage to do one cycle of observing muscles and also observing peace alone. So if you have not mastered this technique, well, then you will not have enough time to do that. So you need to have mastered the technique of meditation on muscles, observing peace, so that you can do this on time. And you do not need more time than that. But suppose that for whatever reason, you start your meditation session, even let's now think about 60 minutes. You start your meditation session, you do one cycle of muscles, and you are not peaceful. So you do another cycle, and another, and another, and another. Then you get peaceful, but before the 10 minutes are gone, you again lose your peace. So you need to do another cycle of muscles. And so you do another cycle of muscle, another cycle of muscles, another cycle of muscles. 10 minutes are gone. 15 minutes are gone. 20 minutes are gone. You still don't have any peace. Now 25 minutes are gone. Finally, you have got some peace. So what shall you do? Well, 25 minutes of the meditation is gone, and you still have 35 minutes remaining for your meditation practice. And you still have there 5 people to work with. So 35 divided by 5, that's 7, right? And so you give each person 7 minutes and you're good to go.
Okay. So do we, excuse me, so do we need to say in the mind the sentence like, from now on, I will be blah, 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 when we practice loving kindness?
You need to make a determination in the beginning of every single meditation session, but you do not repeat that determination during the meditation sessions. So you only make it 3 times in the beginning of your sitting, then 60 minutes you do your sitting meditation. You do not repeat your determination during those 60 minutes. You only say it 3 times before you start those 60 minutes. Then let's say you finish your 60 minutes of sitting, you go to do meditation and walking for 60 minutes. In the beginning of those 60 minutes of walking, you make 3 times your determination. Then during the 60 minutes of walking, you should not say that determination at all. Then after those 60 minutes, let's say you take your meal and then you go to do another sitting meditation. So again, in the beginning of the sitting session, you will make that determination 3 times, and then you should not repeat it anymore during those 60 minutes of the sitting session. Is it clear?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I mean, when we finish the practicing loving kindness, should we say in mind that from now on, I will be always calm, something
I
like
see.
that, or?
You don't have to. No problem.
Oh,
You can decide whatever you
yeah.
want.
Yeah, I get it. Thank you, Bante.
Tori?
I just want to go to bed.
Yeah, sure. So anyone has any more questions? Anything is still hindering your enthusiasm to practice? All right. So it was a pleasure to see everybody. Hope to see you again tomorrow. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be successful in everything you do.
Thank you, Bante. Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bante.
See you tomorrow.
See you all tomorrow. And remember one thing, that before you come to the interview tomorrow, make sure that you fill out the interview form so that Sayadaw can receive all of your question or all of your answer to save time for all of us. Thank you so much for your cooperation. See you tomorrow.
Thank you
Have a
very
nice
much.
day.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Rồi sao? Là mình à, xí rồi. Kết thúc là xong đấy. Nó mở trên YouTube.